Cristina and Kris to be married today?
We do.
Would you welcome each other's families and place their hands together? For many people in this world, silence is the norm of their lives, and it's their compassion that brought them together, their care for these people. Otherwise, you would not have met. Right. So I think it's fitting that we would take just a few moments to be in silence, to prepare our own hearts, to set our intentions, so that we know that whatever cares we might have in this moment, we can lay it aside for just a moment, so that all of our focus can be on this couple, to enable them to be fully present themselves to their own hearts and now to each other. We can also use this time of silence to give thanks, you guys, for the people who are here, because you are the ones who mean the world to them. You are the ones who've dreamed the best for them. And you are the ones who in the years to come will be there to remind them that this day, as beautiful as it is not a dream, that this is perhaps the most real day of their lives to date. So Maria, Cristina, and Kris give thanks for your loving, for your vision for them, for building them up to be the strong, intelligent, and kind human beings that they are. So in their hearts, in this silence, they give thanks for you. And then there are those who could not be here today, for whom circumstances have inhibited their presence, or perhaps they've passed. And we feel their presence in our memories and in our belief that they are here with us, despite physically being in our presence. So let's take those few moments to give thanks for this life, for this love, for these friends, and for all the saints who gather around us. Let us celebrate this marriage. Jimmy and Dory, if you would come forth, you have a reading that you would like to share.
It's a poem called I Promise by Dorothy Colgan. I promise to give you the best of myself and ask of you no more than you can give.
I promise to respect you as your own person and to realize that your interests, desires, and needs are no less important than my own.
I promise to share with you my time and my attention and to bring joy, strength, and imagination to our relationship.
I promise to keep myself open to you, to let you see through the window of my world into my innermost fears and feelings, secrets and dreams.
I promise to go along with you, to be willing to face changes in order to keep our relationship alive and exciting.
I promise to love you in good times and bad, with all I give and all I feel inside, in the only way I know how, completely and forever.
When we talked for a little while about the history of your relationship and your care for one another, I heard some great words come from your mouths as you described each other. I think my favorite one was sappy. I think I heard...
Who's sappy?
Who is sappy?
Sappy.
I think that would go on this direction, and how you keep her grounded and keep her from worrying and getting too caught up in that emotion. I heard that one of the maybe perhaps self-described words that you might use for yourself is awesome.
Absolutely.
Fun. And that for Kris, that you help her to open up and to show who she really is. And that tender part of her comes out with you and perhaps with a few other people that it might not so otherwise come to presence with. And then I heard a lot about friendship. I heard that your love was born from that friendship. I heard it was born from a sincere respect that you have for each other about who the person is. I heard that it was born, as I said earlier, in this common workplace, born out of your compassion and your care for other people. Those are all beautiful building blocks for your marriage. Sappy, awesome, friendly, fun, compassionate. These are the words that you need to keep close to you for the rest of your lives. I'm going to add one other word, which we usually talk about at weddings, and that's love. But I'm going to add a couple of descriptors to love, because we live in a world where a lot of times people do a lot of crappy things to each other in the name of love. And so I think sometimes, though it's a little sad that it's the case, we need to add some descriptors to love. I would say one of them is kindness, loving kindness. Just a simple, gentle care for another human being, realizing that fragile as we are, we're doing the best we can. And that kind of loving kindness, I think, gives birth to forgiveness, to let some things slide, to learn how to pick your battles and to know what's important. So loving kindness. Keep kindness next to your love. I'd also like to add the word crazy a little bit. Crazy love.
Crazy love.
Crazy love. And this is why. You may or may not know this, but I spent 20 years of my life teaching religious studies, and I have a PhD in religious studies, and my first focus was in New Testament studies. And so I had to do all sorts of crazy things to get my doctorate, and one of those was I had to read the translations from the original manuscripts in Greek and find out what those words that we use so flippantly, perhaps what some of their greater nuances are. And in those years of studying, I think my faith grew more and more the more complex I saw that this document is, that's filled with all these words that people have heard so many times, but yet they just go through our ears and out the other, because for many people they have become meaningless. But that word love, which in the Greek is agape, is a very powerful word. It's a love that seeks out the beloved. Oftentimes in English we get that word translated as altruistic love. And when we think about altruism, I think we oftentimes think about, well, there's nothing in it for me. I'm doing this completely for you. But that word agape has a little bit more in it. It has this notion of desire that it seeks out the other, and not just the beautiful and the good and the true. It seeks out everything. The people and the places that you would least expect, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poor, no matter what color is our skin tone, no matter what sexual orientation that we have, no matter what nation we derive from, no matter what religion we come from. In fact, the New Testament and the gospel is really about an intra-religious warfare, where people who were religious thought they knew so truly what is right and good. And Jesus came along and messed that all up and said, you have really clear lines of demarcation that says who's in and who out. But guess what? My table is open to everybody. People will come from east and west, north and south to sit at my table. And that's what made everybody mad, because he opened up the table to everybody. And the reason is because he was crazy love. He was a countercultural kind of love that rocks the boat and says to everybody, if you think you know, keep your mouth shut. So every time anybody saw him and said they thought they recognized him and said, "You're the Christ," he would tell everybody, "Don't say anything." Nobody's ever understood exactly why he always did that. Why did he say, "Don't say anything"? And I think it's because we so easily think that we know it all. And he wanted to say, "No, this is a mystery. This is bigger than anything that we could imagine." And I think it's that kind of crazy love that just loves. I like to say love loves because that's what love does. And I also say love multiplies. Love is the only action, I think, that increases when you give it away. The more you give it away, the more you receive. And I come back to that statement about altruism, because the beauty of crazy love is that we do get something back. What an amazing thing it is to be able to look in the eyes of our beloved and know that we are bringing that lover delight. It's one thing to experience your own dreams come true. It's another thing to realize that you are playing an integral part in making another human being's dreams come true. That's true, I think, between two partners. It's true, I think, when we're parents and we see it happen for our children. I know for me, that's when it dawned on me that I thought there's no greater joy than seeing that my child is happy. It's much more happy than my own joy. The same between two partners. Your love for one another is crazy love. You've seen each other. You've recognized each other. And you've enabled each other to find more about who you are than you ever could had you not met or were you to remain apart. So I give thanks for that loving, for crazy love in general that brought us into this life, this desire that there be life. Let there be life. Let there be love. And I give thanks that you're making this bloom. And I want to add one last thing, and that is, you're not doing this just for yourself. You're doing it for me. You're doing it for future children, for other children, for Ariella, because people need to see crazy love. And one of the best places they can see it is in a marriage, where you love each other not because the other person mirrors you and says, "Oh, I make you feel good about yourself," or "I look just like you." It's because, no, you show what it is to love someone because you love to love. Not in spite of the other person, not necessarily because of the other person, but you just love to love. So I give thanks that you are here today, and I pray that you will have that crazy love in all the years to come, that you'll have loving kindness for yourself, knowing that you're doing the best that you can, and for each other. Are you ready to make your promises to one another?
Yes.
If you would hand your bouquets down. If you would take each other's hands. I believe you're going first, Maria Cristina.
I just want to say that, everything you just said kind of popped a song in my head, and some of the lyrics. Some of the lyrics, "Crazy girl, don't you know that I love you? I wouldn't dream of going nowhere. Silly woman, come here, let me hold you. Have I told you lately, I love you like crazy?" And I do. And can't always find the words. And you do things that Jeannie just talked about. You keep me grounded. You help me realize when to pick my battles. And you've always been there for me, for my family, for my sisters, and, love them like been your sisters from the beginning. I couldn't dream of spending this day with anybody else. So, thank you for loving me. Your turn.
No pressure.
Thank you for loving me. I know I don't show you all the time, and you let me be me. For the craziness, everything, you open me up. we fit. As opposite as we are, we work together. And I love you. I love your family like you love mine. And as crazy as the road has been to get here, I wouldn't change it. I love you.
I love you more.
I love you more. You pulled the song.
Guess
but
I'll
I guess
add
my thing.
I'll add competitive to that.
And random.
And random to that list. So you have written some common vows that you would like to say to one another. If I can find them. There they are. So if you would go first, saying to Maria Cristina, I promise to love you just the way you are,
I promise to love you just the way you are,
with all of your perfect imperfections.
with all of your perfect imperfections.
I promise to always stand beside you
I promise to always stand beside you
and be supportive of your decisions.
and be supportive of your decisions.
I promise to do my least favorite chore at least twice a month.
I promise to do my least favorite chore at least twice a month.
on video, right?
So you're not always stuck doing it.
So you're not always stuck doing it.
I promise to never stay mad at you for too long
I promise to never stay mad at you for too long
and always to kiss you goodnight.
and to always kiss you goodnight.
I promise to make you laugh every day
I promise to make you laugh every day
and sometimes even to laugh at you too.
and sometimes even laugh at you too.
And above all, I promise to be your best friend,
And above all, I promise to be your best friend,
your partner in crime,
your partner in crime,
and the other half of you.
and the other half of you.
Today, I choose you for the rest of my life. Maria Cristina, do you accept Chris's promises?
I sure do.
Kris, I promise to love you just the way you are,
Kris, I promise to love you just the way you are.
with all of your perfect imperfections.
All of your perfect imperfections.
I promise always to stand beside you
I promise always to stand beside you
and be supportive of your decisions.
and be supportive of your decisions.
I promise to do my least favorite chore at least twice a month,
I promise to do my least favorite chore at least twice a month.
so you're not always stuck doing it.
You're not always stuck doing it.
And that's on tape.
It is.
I promise to never stay mad at you for too long
I promise to never stay mad at you for too long
and always to kiss you goodnight.
and always to kiss you goodnight.
I promise to make you laugh every day
I promise to make you laugh every day.
and sometimes even laugh at you too.
And I'll laugh at you too.
I know you will.
And above all, I promise to be your best friend,
And above all, I promise to be your best friend,
your partner in crime,
be your partner in crime,
and the other half of you.
and the other half of you.
Today, I choose you for the rest of my life. Kris, do you accept Maria Cristina's promises?
Absolutely.
Got the rings, right? Can I trade you that? Rings are an ancient symbol. They're round like the sun, like the eye, and like arms that embrace. May your love like the sun illumine. May your love like your beautiful eyes continue to see clearly. And may your love like arms always reach out and hold each other tenderly within your embrace. These rings are made precious by more than from which they're created. They're made precious by the intentions with which you now give them. Wear them always. Do you want to go first? Kris, I give you this ring
Kris, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love.
as a symbol of my love.
From this day forth,
From this day forth,
my heart will be your shelter.
my heart will be your shelter,
My arms will be your home.
and my arms will be your home. A little sweaty.
Maria Cristina, I give you this ring
Christina, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love.
as a symbol of my love.
From this day forth,
From this day forth,
my heart will be your shelter.
my heart will be your shelter.
My arms will be your home.
My arms will be your home.
I wear this colorful fabric around my shoulders. It's called a stole. Another synonym for a stole is a yoke. So the beautiful horses, both of whom are named Love, who brought you to your ceremony, are yoked to the carriage, which implies that they're carrying something. And so might even look at it as bearing a burden. And when I was ordained back in 1987 and was told this, I thought, well, that doesn't sound very fun to be ordained to a lifetime of carrying a burden. But then I was very quickly reminded that the burden that I get to carry is the burden of loving kindness, the burden of compassion. And so I realized then that it was the greatest joy anybody could ever be asked to carry. So I find the lightest, most beautiful, colorful fabrics. A good friend of mine makes these. And I wrap your hands in it so that you remember and you actually feel now that you're held within something. You're held within the love of God that created us and sustains us. You're held within the love of your beautiful family. You're held now within each other's hearts. And your marriage. This is your marriage. It binds you together. Not so that you are imprisoned, but so that you become free. Free to do that crazy love. So I give thanks that you now hold the hands of your best friend. These hands are young and strong, and they will grow old together. Yours are the lips that will continue to speak truth and love to each other, encourage each other, and warn each other. Guard these hands. Cherish your lips, for your life is one life. We're going to have a prayer. I believe another friend is coming up to share that prayer. Let us pray.
Treat yourselves and each other with respect, and remind yourselves often of what brought you together. Give the highest priority to the tenderness, gentleness, and kindness that your connection deserves. When frustration, difficulties, and fear assail your relationship, as they threaten all relationships at one time or another, remember to focus on what is really right between you, not only the part that seems wrong. In this way, you can ride out the storms when clouds hide the face of the sun in your lives. Remembering that even when you lose sight of it for a moment, the sun is still there. And if each of you takes responsibility for the quality of your life together, it will be marked by abundance and delight. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Amen. Thank you. That's okay. That's all right. Maria, Cristina, and Kris have picked one final set of words for us, and I've taken them and changed them slightly, but they're by the poet Pablo Neruda. So I've just changed the voice. Love each other simply, without problems or pride. Love each other in this way because you don't know any other way of loving but this, in which there is no I or you. So intimate that your hand upon her chest is your hand. So intimate that when she falls asleep, it is your eyes that close. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have witnessed the promises of 2 people who truly love one another, so it is now my pleasure to announce that you are Mrs. and Mrs. Rivera. You seal your promises with a kiss.
Happy. Nice to meet you. I know. Thank you. I think you're at the Sure? Yeah.